Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Average Discussion. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Thursday, April 4th, 2024. It's about 66 degrees here just outside the Salt Lake City area. It is extremely windy, though, so I wouldn't say that it really feels like 66. I did not get a chance to pay attention to any gas prices today, so sorry if this is the episode that the future civilizations find. I guess they're not going to get any historical data of what gas prices are, but if I had to take a stab at it, it's still somewhere around $3.80 a gallon. I could look that up, but I'm really not interested in doing that right now. So, interesting week. I'm still battling this schedule thing. Okay, so my schedule changed. I have to be to work by 5 a.m. now, but I get off at 1:30. So before I was recording in the mornings and I would upload it because my thought process was, hey, get it out there so they can enjoy their morning commutes or whatever with it, right? That was kind of my thought process, which really didn't really make a lot of sense if I really think about it, because if you don't live in this time zone, it's either super early or it's, super late and you're already at work about to hit lunch, right? So either way, it was one of those things that it sounded like a good idea at the time. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I'll find out that was a better route to do, and I'll have to figure out a new game plan. But for now, what I want to try to do is I want to try to have these out by 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That would be 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then what is that? Is that 2 p.m. over there in California? I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's just an hour, so maybe it's 3. But either way, so you at least have it for your commute home. All right. I still want to stick with the 30 to 45 minutes tops. I feel like that's a good time frame. But the other thing that I've started doing is, and if you follow the socials, you probably see me blasting it out there. And if you haven't seen it, please make sure you follow the page, especially on Facebook. Follow the page. Instagram, check out the stories. I put all kinds of stuff up there. I get that maybe my posts don't come through on your feeds because, we haven't quite got to that point. Like, I understand that. But if you want to see more of it, by all means, try to tailor your socials to see it, because I put the stuff up there. Okay. On X, formerly known as Twitter, if you have an account over there, please go over to Average Discussion or at AVG Discussion. Okay. Because I want to try out one of the live spaces there and see how that might work, because my new venture that I've kind of branched out into is I want to do live interactive shows. That's kind of been the whole thought process the entire time I've been doing this podcast. And to be fair, I don't think that I've put enough energy until recently into finding the right places to kind of do that. And I think Podbean is a good starting point for that. I've got to figure out some of the audio stuff, because I would like to be able to use my phone to be able to do other things in the middle of the show, maybe even record for, the socials or something like that. But for right now, I have to use my phone because the audio thing, I haven't got that figured out yet. I don't know if there's a separate program that I need to download. I'm not really sure. I'm working through that. But through the phone, it seems to work pretty good. And the mic that I have, it's not exactly the best quality. It's the cheapest one you can get. I think I got it from Walmart. So, it's not the best quality. But it worked pretty well last night. So if you haven't checked out the episode last night where we were talking with Dagan, family friend of ours, and he was, there was a lot of conversation before that. But the last half of the episode is me having a conversation with him about his college work, or his college football career that's going to be starting off for him here soon. So I think it works out pretty good. We can interact with the comments. We can have people call in. I really enjoy it. I think that's a better route for what I try to do. So I know I've asked you guys to do a lot of stuff, like head over to YouTube, help and support the channel over there, and do this and do that. And you're probably like, dude, get your life together. And I totally get that. But I'm going to ask again, okay, because I'm somewhat selfish at this moment. All right. But hey, if that's something that you're interested in, please, let's head over to Podbean, create an account, and then that way you can join and you can call in. You can discuss and add in input. You can, if you don't want to do voice, you can chat live in the moment. I can see it. We can interact in that moment, and I think that's a good thing for it. And then I can just take that and create a regular episode like normal, which is what I did from last night's episode. So please head over there and check that out. Okay, Dagan's a great kid. Show him some love and support. Okay, and that's what it's really about. So that's kind of where this week has just been wild, man. wild. And yesterday was super stressful. Not gonna lie, yesterday was super stressful because I don't know why I put this amount of pressure on myself, but I feel like if it doesn't take off right away, I'm doing something wrong. That's just where my head goes. You know what I mean? And I don't know that that's necessarily true or accurate, but that's where my head goes. Is that okay? Why don't I have more followers on X or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, right? What am I doing wrong? I'm posting, I'm putting things out there, I'm engaging. And really the truth probably is I'm just not engaging enough, and I haven't found quite the right space to get into, right? But point being is that's kind of where my mind gets, right? And I put a lot of added pressure on myself that I don't necessarily think it needs to be there. So, but just so everybody knows, my game plan right now is to have these episodes ready to go by 4:00. Get it out there so you guys have it for your commutes home, for your after work activities, whatever the case is, so you have something to listen to. There's plenty of things to listen to. It's 2024. Literally everybody's putting out content. So if you're following mine, I'm extremely grateful, because there's plenty to choose from, and I hope that I present something to you that's a little bit different than maybe what you get from everything else. I don't do episodes. I don't do in terms of like talking about one subject. I don't do stories that you got to come back for next week. And I don't know, maybe that's my downfall, right? But that's not what I'm interested in. And so I assume that there's people out there that are like me that aren't interested in that. And maybe this fits with them. So please just do me a favor, share it when you can. Follow the stuff. It really helps out more than you guys know. And well, maybe you do know, but in case you don't, like, it helps out a ton. So if you could do all that, I'd greatly appreciate it. And again, if you want to be a part of the live episodes, head over to Podbean, create an account, Podbean, create an account, and that way you can join in and be part of the live discussion. So it's a pretty cool thing. I'm not going to do those every single day. It's just, I don't know, it's a lot of stress on myself right now. So right now I'm not going to do a live episode every single day. So what I'm trying to do this weekend, I will probably do, I want to do one just because I want to see the traffic on the weekend, see how different it is. The last two have been at 8:30 at night. I can't continue to do that, guys, because by the time I get everything wrapped up and finished and done, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I got to be up by 4 at the latest. So that's a tough one for me. So that's why 4 p.m. is going to be my target time to get this stuff out. Okay. And then, the live ones, I'm going to pick one night a week. Right now, I'm not really sure which night of the week. I'm kind of leaning towards Wednesday, like the midway point of the week. And, we've got plenty of topics to talk about by that time frame, and plenty of things to look forward to going into the weekend. And then potentially even split it. Do one episode where it's just me and a co-host. No, maybe we take some calls in, but I think right now just me and a co-host, but you can interact live with it. You can listen to it live. And then do one that's like a fan engagement type thing. You know what I mean? So maybe, so the plan right now tentatively is to do 2. And that's why I'm looking at the weekend to see what the traction is like on Podbean for that. But again, that's also dependent on me getting some pretty decent equipment. So lots going on. But I do think it worked out pretty well. So that's where we've been at. Again, the new schedule moving forward, because my schedule at work has changed. 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm going to try to be spot on with that as I can to make sure that I get an episode out there so that you have something to either finish your work day up with, travel home with, whatever. Keep it brief, 30 to 45 minutes. I think that's ideal. So without any further ado, let's just get into it, okay? So the Biden White House close to finalizing menthol cigarette regulations despite broad opposition. Now listen, I'm just going to say this. All right. So the article that I saw the other day was saying something about like the Biden administration is concerned that they're not going to get as much of the minority vote, particularly from the black community. Okay. And obviously like that's a concern of politicians, is how do we get these small groups of people to vote for us and not the other guy, right? It's really weird. Policies get directed towards it and all those good things, right? So I'm just going to say this, and it's going to sound extremely messed up, but hear me out, okay? Through my experience, All right. I've had the luxury of meeting people from all different races, and menthol cigarettes was a common thing with several of those other groups of people. Now, to be fair, it's also a very common thing for white people. Okay. So I'm not trying to say that it's distinctive to one or the other, but we all know the stereotype, and those stereotypes are jacked up. There's a little bit of truth behind them, right? Maybe not entirely, but a little bit. All right. So that's all I'm trying to say. So if the Biden administration is concerned about the fact that they might be losing some minority vote, I don't know that banning menthol cigarettes is the route that I try to go with. I mean, that's all I'm trying to say. That's dumb. And, I was talking about this with my friend today, and, I think it's a weird thing for me, right? Because on one side of it, I'm like, well, maybe they should. Maybe that'll help me with my quitting thing, because I've all but tarnished that idea, right? And so maybe it helps with that. Maybe maybe that helps me actually kick the habit once and for all. I don't know, But like, I feel like because he's like, I don't understand why people or why they want to do that and this and that, right? And I said, well, I think I understand it as somebody we don't understand it because, people who smoke don't understand it is kind of how I looked at it, right? I could totally see how somebody who's never done it really buys into the idea that a menthol cigarette is more appealing to teenagers. Because if I recall correctly, that's kind of what started the whole thing, right? Is they were talking about, it entices young people to want to do it. Flavored this, flavored that. They did it with alcohol before when I was like, I don't know if I was even legal at the time, but I was close enough that it counts, okay? But they were doing that back then. They were taking those flavored drinks, and they were trying to ban them from, being able to be purchased in regular stores and stuff like that. And at least here in the state of Utah. I guess I can't speak for the rest of the nation, but here in the state of Utah, they were trying to ban them from being sold in regular stores, and that they would have to be bought at the state-ran liquor store. So they could obviously mark it up by 88% and then also control the flow of it, but it's for your health. Anyways, so your health and your safety of your teenagers. But as somebody who's never done it, I could totally see how you would actually believe, how you could believe that the idea of that being targeted to teenagers. I can totally see that. What I will say is that I think they're about 20 years too late because that might have been a thing for maybe my generation, right? But I think today's world, if you're going to ban those, then you need to ban vapes, because I think today's generation, the vape is their problem, right? And so, I don't know. But here's the dumbest thing about the entire thing, and this is what really pisses me off about the whole thing, is that you're going to ban a portion of it because you don't want these kids to be enticed by it. Okay, I can understand that. And we want to do this because it has such a negative health side effect, right? That's really what it boils down to, is that we're concerned about the health side effect of it, correct? Okay, I got you. So why don't you just ban them all together? Explain that one to me. How are you going to say that this portion of it is okay, but this portion isn't? See, that's where they lose me with all of this. Like, how are you going to say, okay, well, you can smoke the regular ones, but you can't smoke the menthol ones? What does it matter? They're equally bad for you, are they not? Maybe there's something worse about the other one. I don't know. But like, if that's our justification, and we're concerned about it being enticing to teenagers, why don't you just ban it all together? Why not just cut the bullshit and ban it all together? But instead you allow it. Just like they never banned the sale of flavored alcoholic beverages. They just made sure that they were profiting the most from it. Because it was just as easy to get somebody to go into the liquor store for you as it was to get them to go to the store when you were in high school. It doesn't matter. The same person you're asking to buy it at the store is going to go to the liquor store to get it. It's the same thing. So all they were doing was making sure they were getting the capital gain from it. It's not about your safety. That's all I'm trying to say. That's the biggest point that I try to preach home all the time, is that anything that they tell you is for your safety, but that they have a beneficial gain, especially financial, it's not about you. It's not about you. So that's news from the White House. Let's see where we at right now. We are at about 15 minutes. Okay. So quiet or quit talk goes viral among younger workers as job experts caution against public pronouncements. So apparently, quiet quitting was the thing that was popular about a year ago, maybe a little year and a half. I don't know. Um, well, apparently this younger generation has moved on from that, and they are basically just making videos where they're basically just quitting their job via video, and they're trashing the entire company. And of course, those companies are saying, like, this is so bad for society. We shouldn't have this. My only question is though I can totally understand how disgruntled employees tend to be very one-sided on their viewpoints, right? And they don't always know um, the behind-the-scenes stuff that they think that they understand, right? So I get that aspect of it. But at the same time, I mean, should the question not be, why do these people hate these companies so bad? Should the question not be, why does it continue to be this situation where the person who's upset is always wrong, right? Why does that be a thing? Now, I'm not going to say that some of these people aren't wrong, okay? Because they probably absolutely are, some of them. And especially if it gets them any kind of popularity, they're going to embellish it and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not enhance. You know what I'm talking about. They're going to make it a bigger deal than exaggerate it. There you go. They're going to exaggerate it, right? So that's a real thing. But I don't know, like, why does it always come back to it's like with the whole climate change thing. It's always us peasants that are the problem, right? But the corporations and the industries, they create these environments that we basically have to fucking play ball with, you know what I mean? And but then it's always our fault. You know what I mean? That story's getting old, and I think jobs are doing the same thing. Like the quit talk goes viral. You know, job experts. How do you become a job expert, by the way? Like, how many jobs do you have to be a job expert? And then in that case, can you even fault people for switching jobs? That's job expert. I'm going to apply for that. I'm going to look that up on Indeed as soon as I'm done with this. I'm going to go be a job expert. Like, I'm an expert in jobs. I can't find you one, you know, but I could tell you all the things that you're doing wrong. That's for sure. So if you didn't know, quit talk is a real thing. Crazy world, crazy world. So a beautiful idea. This French town is making its cemetery a source of solar energy. All right, so they took this graveyard and they installed solar panels all throughout the entire thing. And the picture that I'm looking at right now is a bunch of people. It must be some holiday similar to like Memorial Day or something, right? And you got all the gravestones, you know, the head markers and all that stuff. And then there's like a walking path. And in between it, there's just these monstrosity, you know, steel fabbed solar panels, right? Now, what I will say is that it's pretty cool because it probably provides some cover from the sun. They are, for the most part, transparent, so it does allow sunlight through, so that you can still see where you're going and all that. But interesting concept, you know. I can't remember the exact numbers because I was prepping all this stuff hours ago, and I have totally forgotten what those numbers were. But basically, they voted on it, and the community is gonna, you know, they had to invest obviously a certain portion in tax revenue to get it established, but then they're gonna reap the benefits of it. I think that's very smart. I mean, you know, it's wide open space, and it looks, you know, it's not a fairy tale cemetery. You know, I don't know. Is that even the right word, Chris? Like, why would you equate the word fairy tale and cemetery together? You know, it's not like a classic idea of what you think of a cemetery with the luscious green, you know, grass and all the intricate gravestones, right? It looks a little bland. I'll admit that, but at the same time, it's a cemetery, man. It's full of dead people. So, does it really have to be that poppin'? I say popping a lot more because my friend told me I should never say it again. And in the spirit of the American way of being defiant, I'm going to continue to do what I want. But, you know, so it's not very popping, right? It's not very popping at all. But it's effective. And I think that's pretty cool. So I don't know, you know, I think there's ways we can integrate this stuff without being over the top, like, well, you know, you got to power all this with coal. Like, we're looking for progression, not a replacement. And unfortunately, I think it was presented to us as a replacement, and that's where people get it all fucked up, right? They get in their heads and they're like, well, you're not going to replace my truck, blah, 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 right? And they get all these egotistical headsets about them, like, but I guarantee you the other generations would look at our cars and our trucks today and be like, that garbage, I'm not driving that garbage. Give me my 1950 pickup, blah, 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 right? Like, that's just what we do. We always assume that everything from our era is just so much fucking better. And maybe in some ways, arguably it is. I think I've made that claim before on other episodes. It's like, when you look at the efficiency of cars today, the older cars don't even compare, but if you look at, the interior design, okay, maybe there's a difference, right? If you look at the structural integrity, okay, I can see how some of that's been compromised, right? But overall, the cars as a whole are way better from an engineering standpoint, right? So, it's crazy, but that's just what we do, right? We get stuck in our generational norms, right? And so I think that's kind of where we're at with all this, like, transfer to renewable sources thing, right? And again, I think a lot of that falls on the fact that they presented it and they continue to present it like it's something that needs to happen right now. And I don't think that's a viable result. And I learned that from getting frustrated with myself about this not taking off, right? It's the same concept. Like, you got to give it time. You got to integrate it in. You got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And then you continue to go. And eventually you've got it figured out, right? So I don't know, but it's not a terrible idea. I think it's doable. And the fact that the community gets to reap some of the benefits of it, I think is even better. So Greek archaeologists used the Iliad as a map to find 10 ancient shipwrecks. The reason I put this in here is because I have always stated that, in my opinion, books like those older books, especially the Bible, right? The Old Testament version in particular, is a huge source of reference, I think, for history. You can use it because, though we might call things differently, it's very descriptive in a lot of ways of where things are located, right? And so from a historical standpoint, you can go back and you can find that stuff. And I don't know why I never thought of it, but I never really put that same thought process into these ancient books, right? Like the Iliad. And it makes complete sense to me, because they're inspired to write based off of things that they see, right? And I don't know. I don't know why I never really thought about it being really the same. I've heard some people talk about, Atlantis a lot, right? And they reference Homer. I think it's even the same book, actually. Now that I think about it, I think it's even the same book that they reference. And they look at that to try to find the potential places where it might be located. So I don't know, just thought I'd share that with you guys. Pretty interesting. These articles are coming off of Good News Network. So that was pretty cool. So goodnewsnetwork.org, I think is what it was. But, I forget the name of the dang school, guys. Anyways, so these college kids, they surprise Nigerian security guard, who they say is part of the family, with a trip home by raising $30,000. Now, this story was pretty freaking awesome, man. I really want to try to play the video, but I'm afraid it's going to cut out my audio. So let's see if I can play the video. If I can play the video, and we'll see if it records on here. Let's see. Hold on one second, guys. Where did I put that? There it is. Okay, so let's see if it'll play here. I'm not sure if it will. I'm hoping that it will, but let's see. Okay, well, it stopped the recording app. So I'll go back and I'll edit this in. Hopefully I got enough time to do that before the 4 p.m. mark, and then I'll get it in there. It didn't work. Sorry, guys. It cut me off, and now we're back here. So anyway, so the security guard's there. He works, and he's super friendly with everybody there. He's a really good guy from all accounts that the article referenced. And so he mentioned that he hadn't been home to see his family in like 5 years, right? And he's from Nigeria. And basically saying he couldn't afford it and things like that. So the students put together a GoFundMe and they started raising money with hopes of just being able to get him a plane ticket, right? And so the GoFundMe pretty much takes off. And before they know it, they have to stop it at $30,000, right? So they're able to raise $30,000 for this guy. They get him a plane ticket. And then all the hope was that he would have some extra money in his pocket, basically, so he could not only get there, but to actually be able to enjoy himself a little bit, right? And so the first thing that they did was buy the plane ticket, and then they got him the extra money, and they did this really cool thing where they all kind of surprised him. So he's in this room, and if you go over to YouTube, you should be able to see the video. I'm gonna put it in the video. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for that, but yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But he's in this room, and there's like this whole group of kids that had put this together for him, and they surprise him with this, and the guy just breaks down, man. He hits his knees, and he's extremely grateful and shocked. You know what I mean? And the reason that I felt so good about this story is because, and I shared it on the socials as well, right? It's like, this reaffirms to me that, young people, the young generation gets a bad rep, right? Because we look at things and we say things like, oh, they're so addicted to social media, video games, and this and that. I say some of the same shit myself. I'm not innocent on this by any means. I do try to be more aware of it, but I still say the same stuff, right? And they get a really bad rep, like, especially when you look at the work world. They're like, oh, these kids these days, they're so lazy and blah, 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 blah. And don't get me wrong, there's probably some truth to that, but are they lazy or just they don't want to do the same shit that we all did? The same shit that we all hate, by the way. Like, I have not met very many people in my life that actually enjoy going to their fucking job. Okay, now there's some people whose jobs they genuinely enjoy. All right, but a vast majority of people go to jobs that pay their bills. Plain and simple, right? And not very, if you ask probably 99.75% of people, if you didn't have to go to work today, would you? I bet you most of them would say, hell no, right? We all hate it, but yet then we judge them because they don't want to be part of the same bullshit. They just don't know how to replace it yet, so they haven't figured it out, and it gets appeared as lazy. That's my personal take on it. Sometimes, sure, absolutely it is lazy, because there is lazy people in the world, but to assume that it's all of them, I think they get a bad rep. And I think stuff like this kind of shows that hope for humanity is still there. You know what I'm saying? Like, these kids did not have to do this. It's not a very well shot video, so I don't think it was for attention or anything like that. I genuinely feel like they did this to be decent to this guy who's been decent to them, and they know how to make that happen, and they were able to get out there and do it. And I think that's absolutely amazing. I know the guy's going to be forever grateful of it, and I hope he had a great time. I don't know if he's even left yet, but either way, that gives me hope that there's so much goodness that can still come. Because I think if all you do is focus on the negative, it's easy to see the doom, right? And when you do that, you're going to get trapped in those mindsets of, oh, we're all screwed. I bet you every generation has said that about the generation after them. I bet you they have. I 1000% believe it. There was people in 1814 that were like, oh, these kids these days, they're so lazy. And those are the people that we're looking at now and we're like, oh, they had it so rough, right? So every generation is going to say that shit. Every generation plays that card. And I don't know, man, like, things like this just give me hope. I mean, the world is definitely changing. There's a lot of chaos going on, and I think it's easy to jump to conclusions and be like, oh man, it's all just gonna crash and burn. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't think it is. I feel like I'm gonna have to pay taxes and pay these stupid bills and go to this stupid job probably for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, I wish it would just fucking end. Let's figure it out. It's going to be rough. It's going to suck. We're going to have long, hard days. Don't get me wrong. But it's an opportunity to start anew. And I think if we just keep rebuilding the old house, eventually the foundation's going to crack for real. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. This video gives me hope. I'm hoping I can get it into the YouTube video, but in the event that I can't, I hope I did a good job explaining it. And again, you can go over to goodnewsnetwork.org. You'll see it. The title is literally Students Surprise Nigerian Security Guard who's part of the family with a trip home raising $30,000. And it was posted on March 21st, 2024. So pretty cool story. Super happy for that man. And I'm super proud of those kids. I mean, they're college kids, but they're kids, right? So, maybe 21 at best, right? So, I'm super proud of them. Way to be good people. We definitely need way more of that in the world right now. So kudos to every single one of those kids for being good people. Kudos to everybody for donating to that. That's the future that I want to live in. I've lived in the go be a hard ass, go fight, go be a part of the war machine, right? I've lived that. And you know what? I'm good, man. I'm good. You can keep that shit. It's not worth it. It's pointless. It's one thing to defend yourself. It's another to just do pointless things. And so, I don't know. I support it 100%. So I'm just going to leave you with a little joke here. A meme that I found that I was going to send to my family. That's what we do. We have a group chat. We just send ridiculous stuff. Usually it's sports trade updates that we hear about throughout the day. But Aladdin could have just handed the lamp to Jasmine and they would have gained an extra 3 wishes. So there's that for you. Let your mind resonate on that. Oh man, do I have any more? I probably really shouldn't talk because I'm at 32 minutes. So I'm trying to keep it 30 to 45 minutes because I want it to be something that you can listen to in a car ride home because I assume that everybody has a similar commute to me. So 30 to 45 minutes should be plenty of time. So again, the live venture that I'm doing, it's over on Podbean. Podbean.com. Create yourself an account. Go to Average Discussion. Follow me, right? And I think it alerts you. I'm not 100% sure on that, right? But it should alert you when I go live. And also check the socials. It'll be there. So if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to call in on a topic, or if you want to be a future co-host, reach out to me. That's where I'm going to try to do those at. For right now, at least. I'll probably change it as soon as you guys all get over there because that's what I do. I ask you to help me. And then once you help me, I go to something else and I ask you to help me again, okay? I'm annoying like that. My wife knows. It's just who I am, all right? No, but head over to facebook.com/average discussion, okay? Like the show, like the page, follow the page so you can get all the updates because I try to keep everybody updated. Engage. Please engage on the stuff. Let's talk about some stuff. I mean, it's literally called Average Discussion, and there's not a lot of discussion going on. Instagram is pretty much strictly for advertising, but if you want to comment on something, I'll definitely discuss things with you there. That's kind of the point of it, right? It's under Average Discussion, by the way. Threads. I don't know if any of you are on Threads. I don't know if anybody's on Threads. I'm actually starting to believe that it's just a bunch of AI robots. Okay, because nothing gets interaction over there for me, at least. Average Discussion. But again, on Twitter, if you have a Twitter account and you're interested in, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what Spaces is, but it's basically like a community room with audio and it records it. It's literally the same thing that I'm doing over on Podbean. I just did not realize it until after I already started the Podbean thing. But I also understand that there's probably a higher chance that some people already have a Twitter because that was a big thing and maybe you just can't remember how to log into it, but you probably already have it on your phone even. Okay, so I want to try one of those out and see if it's going to work before I ask people to go over there. But I do have a Twitter page at AVG Discussion. Okay, and I put the same stuff out there, the podcast episodes, the links, the updates, all that stuff goes over there too. So if you're over there, that might be a better way to do it. It might. And I do plan on doing that, just not sure when. Let's see. youtube.com, channel's Average Discussion. I don't have the best recording equipment, so right now I generally just put the audio over I just upload it from Spreaker, to be honest, and it puts it over its own backdrop. So, but if that's your thing, YouTube, we're over there too. I say we like there's more than me. but there's not. It's just me and lots of me. Lots of me. Anyways, so yeah, that's it. I don't know if you got any questions, bitches, gripes, complaints, death threats, whatever it is, you can email me directly at averagediscussion@gmail.com. That's all one word, averagediscussion@gmail.com. Okay, so that should be all the places that you can find me. I do hope you're enjoying the show. I appreciate all the support I have got. I'm just asking for some more. That's what I do. I ask for more support. But I hope I'm giving you something in return, right? Hopefully I'm giving you a good time. Whoa. I probably should have phrased that differently. Hopefully I'm giving you something that you can appreciate. And that you find enjoyment in and hopefully interest in. So let me know. Please let me know. I mean, that's literally why it's called Average Discussion. The word discussion is literally in there. Literally. So yeah, I'm interested to know what you guys think. You don't have to be an expert. That's the biggest thing I want to point out. I am by far not an expert. I mess up all the time. I've probably said plenty of stuff that you're like, this guy's an idiot. Okay? Tell me I'm an idiot. That's what I'm looking for. Let's talk about it. Let's have fun with it. I'm not afraid to be wrong. And I don't want you to feel like you have to be an expert. Your opinion is your opinion. It deserves to be heard. And the best thing that we can do is just make sure that we present that in a way that's respectable, right? Not to be jackasses, not to be just over the top ignorant. I was talking on the first live episode that I did with my buddy, and I really feel like the only key to success is to either go extremely left, right, with the buying into all the modern day concepts and cultural current events, right, like transgenderism and stuff like that. I either have to be super supportive of that, or I have to be on the other side of it, or I have to be overly critical of it and borderline racist. It's like the only two ways that you can get any kind of publicity, it feels like. And I don't think that that's true. I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that. And I'm not going to encourage a world where that is true. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say things the way that I feel them and just go with it from there, man. Like, I don't claim to be left, right, or even in the middle. I don't even know if I'm on the same level as the bird. I might just be in the water. I don't know. And it's okay, is the point I'm trying to make. So that's the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely head over there. Head over to the socials. Give me a like. Give me a follow. Discuss things with me. That's what I'm there for, right? And again, if you want to be on the live episodes, Podbean, Podbean. That's where the live episodes will be going down. Everything will still upload to the same original spots, so you don't have to change the place that you listen to your favorite podcasts at. Only got to go over there if you want to be a part of the live episode, okay? So let me know. I'll be there. And that's the show, guys. So as always, let me get back to the screen so I can stop this. As always, thank you for joining me. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. And until next time, I'm out.